Good day, I'm Tam, the creator of Live to Inspire Movement. And with this channel here, we are here to inspire you and our artists of the day. So we got two main questions that we ask you. The first main question is like, what inspired you to do what you're doing, right? Because you're going to school and there's all kinds of like instruments and things to explore, right? So what inspired you to do what you're doing? And the second question is like, what keeps you fueled and motivated to do what you're doing, right? Because there's so many things, like I said, to like do. And so here's an inspired story with
Anna Madewell. Hey guys. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it, first off. And the first question, what inspires me? Wow. Well, there's definitely lots of inspirations all around. I would say my main inspiration, what really gets me, is seeing live performances. Music festivals, showcases, going to EDC in a couple of weeks. So, so whenever I see live performances, it really has inspired me to perform myself because it's amazing just doing that in front of such a big crowd and influencing everybody and making people cry, making people laugh with your music, like bringing that emotion to people. So ever since I was younger, that's really what got me, what influenced me the most to want to sing, to want to create, write lyrics, perform songs live, that's really what's inspired me the most, just seeing live shows.
I like that you're talking about, trying to connect with people, that vibration, because I've interviewed a lot of different DJs and musicians, and they all talk about, just vibing with people and feeding off of that vibration, and that's where the sound comes through, that connection. That's really cool.
Yeah, absolutely. And when I was younger, I remember just my mom, she's from Mexico, and she has fallen in love with the music, especially the 80s music here in America. One of the main reasons she even wanted to come to America. So me growing up with my sister and little brother, she would always show us like Michael Jackson videos and like Stevie Nicks and just all sorts of music videos growing up. So I just always had always been around music all my life. So it's very
it's always been around, and something that's like inspired you, right, to like just keep on dabbing into it. Watching the music videos, and Michael Jackson is very inspiring, for sure.
And very different crowds too, like seeing how it is. I just came back from ACL actually this past weekend, and it always feels like such a motivator, just such a like seeing the crowd for Miley Cyrus, a natural performer ever since she was like 12, 13, 14 years old on Hannah Montana, compared to like a DJ set, like a rave set by Excision, for example, like who's super dubstep, like seeing how people respond. It's so interesting to see the crowd, and like music really makes people cry, makes people feel crazy. And it's
different
awesome.
Emotions for sure.
Yeah.
And who's like somebody that motivates you like right now, who's inspiring you right now? Like
right now, currently, I would say Alice in Wonderland for sure. She's actually an Australian DJ, and she performed this past ACL, which I think is pretty cool because there's not really a lot of DJs that get introduced to the more pop culture, you know what I mean? It's seen as so electronic that it's hard to kind of get into EDM, like the dubstep stuff, but I think she did really a good job introducing like dubstep to everybody because everybody was so into it. Allison's really, because she sings, she actually plays cello, so she knows her music theory, her organic instruments and all that. And she also produces her own music, and that's the kind of stuff I'm trying to do too while DJing at the same time. So
So do you also sing as well?
Yes, I do.
And write?
Yeah, I love lyrics.
Everything. And what instruments do you currently play right now? Like which ones?
So I started playing acoustic when I was like 15 years old. Yeah. Electric guitar. This guitar right here, I actually got this just this past year, and I've been obsessed with electric ever since I've been playing with this one.
Would you say it's harder?
No, I think actually it's easier because it sounds louder, it's amplified, so it just sounds more precious, to be honest. When it acoustic is just like such a different vibe. It's like sing along, campfire vibe, or when you're busking. When I'm outside, sometimes like I'll go busking at UTSA in front of the campus. Trying to promote our organization, the Mob Musicians of Business, and we'll just be playing songs outside with acoustic. So, it's a vibe. It's cool, but I think right now my favorite is definitely electric guitar. I love electric guitar. Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool.
Huh?
Cool. Yeah, it's definitely like a louder sound. Yeah, for sure. And you can like feel it, right? Like more.
Yeah.
So you like going and like you said, you do busting, like, so you don't like perform in different places. It looked like, yeah, that you were just starting off and mostly with acoustic and stuff like that. I was looking at some of your videos. Are you also on TikTok?
Yeah, I am on TikTok.
All right, I gotta find that one.
Oh, yeah, it's under Kitty Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would be my so my DJ name's DJ Kiki, but it also stands for Kitty Kingdom. The full thing's spelled out Kitty Kingdom for my more acoustic performances, singing performances, more relaxed R&B chill type of performances. And then when I bring on the dubstep, that's when I come up as Kiki. So yeah.
Where'd you come up with those names?
Kiki, that has been given to me as a nickname like 3-4 years ago. My friends, they just started calling me Kiki because the Drake song.
Oh.
The Drake song that's like, Kiki, do you love me? Yeah, we would like play that song all the time, like 3 or 4 years ago, and it just stuck. It just stuck ever since. Yeah, and then I love cats, so then Kitty Kingdom was like, oh well, that makes sense,
Kitty Kingdom.
Yeah, so like that came out of that, and it just all felt connected. So yeah,
sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
What who's a mentor that you would say that you have been like helping you or you look up to? You have a mentor?
Mentor. I would say when it comes to marketing, music marketing, I go to school, by the way, for music marketing. That's a part of my degree. So just learning how to make money, monetizing your art for music, because there's so many talented people, but not a lot of people that can make a living from it just because they don't know the rules or really how to make money from it. So one mentor for me when it comes to that is a professor. Actually, he used to go to UTSA. Now he moved to like Oklahoma or somewhere else. Stan Renard, Dr. Renard. He's actually a fiddler. He plays violin. And he is very about his craft, like touring and how to make money from that and different licensing and all that good stuff that I'm still getting into. But when it comes to just music in general, I would say, wow, just watching interviews from like Aerosmith and Michael Jackson and seeing how like their mindset, like staying humble so that they can learn more. That's one thing that I realized from a lot of great artists and a lot of great people, that when they humble themselves, then that's when they grow more, because there's always more to get instead of being egotistic. So yeah, those are great mentors to watch. Like those are great mentors. Steven Tyler, Aerosmith, my favorite. Started watching interviews by Guns N' Roses too recently. So
it's very powerful, right? To be watching other people's stories, huh? Like documentaries and seeing how they've grown from this way to this way, and it's like, wow, what a process. I just watched the Wu-Tang on Hulu. Like, man, it was so cool to watch how these guys, these performers, that were all gangsters, fighting against each other and whatnot on the streets, and then becoming this huge, I mean, they're forever, gonna be known as Wu-Tang, and their music's forever gonna be played, right? And it's
exactly. And making music because there's so many different types of music that kind of seem like they would just last a couple years or 5 years, 10 years. Not to put anybody in the spot, I'm not gonna put any artists out there in case people start fighting me. But then there's legends like Queens, and like it's been 15 years, 20 years, Bohemian Rhapsody is still playing, like music that's just like legendary that lasts a lifetime. And honestly, that's the kind of stuff that I'm aiming for, because that's like just some beautiful music, to be honest, whatever form it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like you said, yeah, staying humble, which is constantly knowing that you're not finished, you don't know everything, right? And you're wanting to learn more and more, and letting people connect to who you really are, and telling them your story, and the process of like becoming the artist you want to be, right?
Yeah,
Love it.
exactly. That's actually, that reminds me, that's one thing I really, really loved about Miley Cyrus's performance this past weekend at ACL. Is just so authentic, just genuinely herself, unapologetic about who she is. And I feel like a lot of artists like that are actually role models, just not for other artists, but for everybody. Like just being genuine to your true self. And it sounds kind of cliche and cheesy when I say it like this, but
Oh,
it's very powerful. So it was some good lessons, like going to festivals and seeing shows and live performances. I feel like it's always just really good lessons for life. So
so
yeah.
so you're saying you go to school, like you're going to school for like learning the business of music in general, right?
Yeah, the degree, like what it's called, is multidisciplinary.
Oh yeah.
And it's kind of like three little focus areas. So it's like music, marketing and business, and audio tech engineering. So like production, like music making. Yeah.
And who told you that you should go to school for that? Like, or how did you figure that out?
Took me a while to to kind of realize, like when I first got into school when I was a freshman, like 4 years ago. 4 years ago. That feels weird saying out loud. um, yeah, I was like first psychology. Not sure if I could really make a living off of music. My parents were always super supportive. I always made great, like really good grades. So I almost saw it as like a waste of school. Like, wow, like if I do music, then it's like wasting all the years of school that I've ever done in my life. You know what I mean? But then when I started meeting other musicians and I got into mob, I realized you can make music, or you can make money from music, and a lot of money too, even if you don't become famous in the eyes of the society or by their standards. Just, yeah, you can do a lot. You just got to know how to get there and what to do. So that's when I realized, like, okay, I'm just going to do little focus areas, like not completely on music marketing. I still want to learn some business, and also some production, like beat making and Logic Pro, and the actual production side of it. So it just feels like a good like combination of everything to get me prepared for whenever I graduate.
That's
Yeah.
cool. Yeah, you have a support, from your parents, not like, trying to
Yeah.
drag you or into something else and whatnot. Because like you said, you're super smart, but like you're gonna be smart in this business, right? That's what you
Mhm.
like, focus on.
Yeah, exactly.
Be brave, to know that, I mean, there's even more that you can gain out of just even going to that school, and bet, or going for that subject. There's more that you can help others, produce their own music, and you can eventually be a teacher as well, right? It doesn't just mean just your own music. It could just be for a lot of different things, right?
That's so true, and there's actually a lot of people in mob, the organization I'm leading, Musicians of Business, that they love music and they're so good at it. Like yesterday, we had a workshop where everybody was there to critique each other, and not even really critique, just like a listening party, and we're telling each other what we feel about each other's music. And a lot of them were shy, and I was surprised by a lot of the music I was hearing. It seemed professional, like something I would actually hear on the radio. But then there's also a lot of different degrees, and I know some people that stay in their field of degree, like they stick with like nursing or something that they're not that into, and I can tell that they're not that into, but they're great at music and they love it just because of the whole, societal, just how am I going to make money from it and can I make money from it? But I feel like once they're music's your plan A, B and C and D, and it's like, like it's just your, like no backdoor, no plan B for, oh, if this doesn't work out, then I'm going to become a nurse, or I'm going to become, I keep pointing out nurses.
Because
I'm
that's
going
what
to,
everybody does here in Texas, right? Like that's
yeah, or I'm going to become like something that they're not that into, and I can tell. I think it's just good to make it your everything, like just all your energy into it, and then you're going to succeed. If you have all your energy into something, then you should do well.
So
So
I mean, that's also plays like a big part of like the confidence, right? Like the confidence behind like your music style and your music, drive your drive for it. Do you feel like, like what's your confidence? Where does that come from? That you're just like, you know what? Like, yeah, man, I believe in myself. Like I'm a great artist. Where does that
yeah,
come from?
it's shaky. Sometimes it's hard, but I mean, growing up, of course, you can't always trust your parents because you're their kid and they're gonna say that they love you and that your voice is great when you could sound like whatever, But growing up, they always did tell me that. So I would get a lot of confidence from my parents growing up, just like they're like, Anna, sing as loud as possible in the choir. Like I would sing too loud, like the choir director's like, but so yeah, like definitely a lot for my parents just growing up and then singing in front of people and talent shows and started doing open mic nights and all that. People would really love my voice. I got confidence from that. Um, I also, this is random, but I did this internship, a really insane but very helpful internship for 2 summers where I like sold books door to door, like 80 hours a week.
Yeah.
And yeah, and I guess what that has to do with this is that that's where I got a lot of my confidence, just talking to strangers, sometimes singing in front of strangers, because I was a little bit more, not shy, but more of, I just want to put myself out there so much. And I did that on purpose to get in the habit of rejection and get in the habit of putting myself out there, So I think that's also where I got a lot of my confidence too. Doing hard things, putting your music out there, and also kind of just knowing that it doesn't matter what anybody thinks of you. It really doesn't. You're living for you. You're gonna do what you want to do. But my worry is, oh, is it good? Like compared to others, because there's so many other people trying to do it. But I just realized I just need to put content out there, because there's also the whole perfectionist idea of, oh, I need to perfect it and perfect it. And a lot of artists and producers you meet, they're very much perfectionists, where they're like working on a song and they don't release it when they spent months on it just because they're like, it's not good enough. But yeah, I guess just getting out there, putting yourself out there to answer your question.
So you're not holding yourself back like from anything that you create. You're just like, you know what?
Yeah,
I gotta put it.
yeah, getting opinions.
Good for you.
Yeah,
It's exactly what we should all be doing, just put it out there. Who cares, like,
yeah.
and you see, and then you start, go ahead.
And I need to get better at that too, because right now I'm working on an album that's planned on coming out by this next summer. And I spent a long time on just one song. Also because I'm trying to get past that learning curve of production, just like, oh, how do I do this and this? Because it's so technical. But I'm like preaching this, but I need to do the same thing. Just getting a lot of content out there, I feel like just gives you confidence in general. So
Perfect.
yeah.
We do need to. We need to just put it out there. And I mean, I struggle with the same thing too, like sometimes I'm just like, nobody wants to hear that or see that, and then I'm just like, no, just put it out there. Who cares?
Yeah. And you'll be surprised by what people like, because we're so critical of ourselves, or when we hear ourselves sing, it sounds strange sometimes. But then to a stranger, they're like, oh my God, who is this? Like,
and then you start to see other people, right? Other people start to pop up in your feed that are also putting out just whatever, too. And then you're just like, hey, I'm not the only one. Like, wow, there's other people too. Like they messed up right there, but like, who cares?
Yeah, exactly.
They're showing themselves.
Yeah. And I've also like realized that it stops the creative flow too. Like the more critical that you get of yourself, I'll get in a loop where I'm super critical of myself and I'll like run a line 17 times, like perfecting it. It's like, okay, sometimes you just need to just let it go and don't be so critical, Oh, wow. I can't believe I did not mention him, but back to your other question about my mentors, my guitar teacher, he's actually a huge mentor for me, His name's David Piggott, and he actually runs his own studio back in Houston, Texas. And yeah, he's been teaching me guitar this whole time, theory, everything. And I think a lot of times I also feel very, I pay attention to people's opinions a lot. Recently, not trying to so much, but his opinion I definitely care about. So sometimes, whenever I put music out there, even I post something on Instagram and he'll say something about it, I'm like, okay, like, I get scared, but at the same time, I'm like, I need to hear that. So that's just another mentor, by the way.
Awesome. Awesome. When
Yeah.
he goes,
Mhm.
I think you're right. Everybody needs a mentor, right?
Yeah.
Somebody that like, just, brings you back, in check, or inspires you, to like, hey, yeah, this, you can tweak it here, or hey, have you posted anything, lately,
Yeah.
like things like that, right? It really does all count,
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
let's see. What keeps you fueled and motivated to do what you're doing?
What keeps me motivated?
Yeah, to
Wow.
never stop. Like, what do you do in the morning, that makes you like,
Yeah. Yeah.
create?
Yeah. So I was really great about this over the summer, but ever since school, I've been slacking a little bit. But what I would do typically, I would spend 5 minutes meditating in the morning. And during that meditation, it would just be like beautiful meditation music that sounds like floating. And I would just envision where I will be in 5 years. So manifestation in a way, like just picturing the point of view of being on stage and seeing like thousands of people. So I would think of that a lot every day. Yeah, like 5 minutes every day. The mornings are really good for that. Also affirmations like in the morning, like I'm great today, I'm creative, whatever you want to tell yourself, because a lot of times I don't feel creative and it feels really hard to write or anything. But that has really kept me on track. I feel like just the vision itself of what this can become,
Right?
what this will become. So
The big
that's what
dream.
helps me. Yeah. Yeah, that's really what helped me a lot, because it's easy to get distracted. I personally get distracted a lot. And
Yeah, like do you feel like sometimes like you gain like this like flow and everything's good, and then you stop
yeah,
doing those, manifesting or like meditating, and then here comes a slump, and then you're like, oh, I need to continue to keep on being consistent with my affirmations and my meditations, because when we keep it consistent, right? That flow is constantly in and out, through us, and it keeps us like going, believing in ourselves,
exactly. Consistency is also very, very not, it doesn't have to be tough. You just have to be focused and consistent, because there are things that happen in life. But, as long as you, for example, like there's a couple weeks in the summer where I would post a TikTok video every day of me playing a different song. And I was getting a lot of views. A lot of people were watching, a lot of comments. And then I just eventually stopped because I started getting into DJ. So just like, distractions, because I would try to do so many things. So recently I've been focused on a couple things at a time. Like I got vocal nodes this past summer where I couldn't really sing, or they didn't want me to sing. I couldn't sing for 4 or 5 months. So I started focusing on DJing and guitar playing and production and stuff that wasn't involving really my voice. But I found that that's helped me because I can tend to get distracted, focus on a couple things at a time. So this school year, for example, since it's my last year before graduating, I wanted to really focus on the organization of musicians of business, because being president feels like another job, to be honest, sometimes, like an actual job. Yeah. There's a lot that goes into it. So instead of doing in the past years where I would do a little bit of everything and not giving my 100% in anything, then I decided to give my 100% into this group this year. And in return, it's going to come back to me because now there's all these musicians and artists and people to collab with, you know? So I also feel like having a team is good instead of doing everything by yourself, because over the summer, like I would, I would try to do everything by myself, like the producing and the guitar tracking, and you can do that, like, of course, but it definitely takes more time. And it's just easier having a team to work with, somebody that's already a professional in that, or that's their focus area, like that's their master, like that's where they master their craft. Like someone's going to be a better producer than you know, or someone's going to be a better guitar player than you, and then I can just be the singer. So yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like do you struggle sometimes with finding people or connections or the funds to pay people to like be able to do those parts, you know, like how do you deal with all that?
So my earlier years, like 2, 3 years ago, freshman, sophomore, there was everybody that like I would put myself out a lot. And a lot of people would just come up to me and like, let me collab, like, let me jump on a track, like super casual. That's so easy to say and do, but I would just let people prove themselves to me, you know, like, because there's so many people that talk about it, but don't actually show up for it, don't actually work with you, you know? And that was frustrating to me because I would try to work with other producers. That's why I started producing on my own, like figuring it out on my own. But yeah, when it comes to pay, I don't pay anybody, but just other artists like myself that want to work with me and that they can give me a little something that can help me and teach me like some production, and I can put some vocals on their track or some guitar parts on their track or something that they can't do, then I feel like that's the best way of like collaborating, you know, just helping each other make it a great song. So just eventually proving themselves, like actually calling back, actually showing up on time, you know, like just showing that they're serious. And I think lately I've been finding more serious people than I have like 3 or 4 years ago, you know, and it could be also because I'm taking myself more seriously now, like as a professional, rather than someone that's scared to ask to get paid for a gig or something that like, and that's so common, like almost this feeling of like, oh, should I ask to get paid this much? Is that too high? You know? And it's an art. It's an art. They're lucky to have you. So I think I've been taking myself more professional too. And in return, it's been helping more with collaborations and working with people. So
Cool.
yeah.
Again, confident, brave, right?
Oh, thank you.
It, right?
Yeah.
What is something that you have struggled with and overcame?
Vocals for sure. Like when I was younger, I would always sing the loudest because I loved singing, and my mom and dad would encourage me to sing as loud as possible. But the thing is, it wasn't good. It wasn't on pitch or you know, like technically good. So when I went to high school, I went to IWA. Shout out IWA. And it was this all girls college prep Catholic school, a lot of singers in the choir. And I would just sing my heart out, but no one would tell me I was bad. The choir director pulled me aside and she's like, I can tell you love singing. Like, let me help you break down your voice so we can get you on pitch. You know, like, let's get you singing like on pitch and key, like, you know, and that was tough. That was really hard. Like, because it feels like a shot to the ego, you know, because it's different playing a saxophone and getting critiqued on playing saxophone or playing drums or whatever, but getting critiqued on your voice, it feels like it's you, like they're fixing you. So that was really tough for me. I started taking a lot of vocal classes, because I knew I had a powerful voice, but I guess just not knowing what to do with it, like dynamics and making people feel things, you know, making it magical for people. Started going to this vocal coach, Tom McKinney. He's actually, he used to be Beyonce's vocal coach before she went into Destiny's Child because she was here in Houston. He was in Memorial City. But yeah, that helped a lot too. You know, getting really critical with the voice. And that was really tough to do, like just breaking down how you speak and how you have to speak to be lighter on your voice too. I had to do that for vocal notes, something I got recently. Because I would always talk with a booming voice, you know, like too much force. So just breaking that down was pretty tough, and learning how to re-sing again was tough too. But now we're here. And my voice doesn't always sound like this, by the way. It's because I just came back from ACL.
Yeah.
Yeah, so my voice is like kind of out right now because I'm back from ACL. But yeah, learning how to re-sing and was pretty tough.
How would you what would you tell people that, have to go through that, have to go through like accepting that your voice is an instrument, you know?
Yeah,
How would you encourage them?
lots of patience. Just remember the vision. If you have a vision, and if you don't have a vision, then maybe think of creating one. Like if you really have a great voice and you really have people that believe in you, maybe even more than you believe in yourself, then maybe you should consider consider singing if you really love it. Um, but just be patient with it. Like every day, remind yourself what it can become, even though it's not there yet. That helped me a lot. And just keep practicing. I think hard work and anything pays off. Yeah.
Now, we're seeing it within you, we're gonna see you grow and grow and grow. It's gonna be so exciting.
Thank you.
Let's see, what else? So what's next for you? Like, what's your next move? What are you working on?
Wow. So right now, super focused on Mob, the organization, like I said, but still creating music when I have the free time beside the school life, school classes. Working on an album. So 12 songs an album. Don't have a name for it yet. It's up in the air. I'm just letting it become whatever it wants to be. But right now, the vibe, it's more R&B, kind of soulful, chill, relaxed music. And then gonna make a dubstep version, remix version, every track of that. So once I graduate in May, then the summer, spend time here DJing, producing, collaborating, just full in music, just full on music life, tracking every day. And eventually I would love to go to LA and go to a recording production school there just to really get more familiar with the technology and just really great producing, because that would be amazing. So that's the plan for the future. The future. After that, wherever life takes me, touring. I'd love to tour. Just get a me and my boyfriend I've talked about just like because he drives a lot, right? So
Yeah.
getting like a van, renting a van, just packing all my instruments, getting a power generator, playing on beaches, playing in every city, but first getting the fans here in like San Antonio and Houston, my hometown, before traveling out to like LA and Cali, Ohio, Oklahoma, like just random states and booking venues. I'm also wanting to learn about the marketing side, like booking shows and booking agents. And that's something that I'm actually going to start focusing on this year. Just really like the marketing and business side of things before I just go out there, go out there into the world and start touring myself, getting into venues and shows. So that's the plan for the future.
That's cool. I like it. I love the vision. I love it. Yeah, doing the band life. Right?
Yeah.
So much freedom behind that. So where are you currently at? Like what city do you live in? Where are you from?
I'm from Houston. I'm from Spring in Houston. And right now in San Antonio, been here for 4 or 5 years now, since I was a freshman. And yeah, probably be here a little bit longer. Who knows? Like after I graduate, maybe another year to really finish my album. At that point, probably the dubstep version of my album, because hopefully I get the first one finished by the summertime. Yeah, and to really create a fan base, I would say here in San Antonio before traveling out. But eventually I'm open to moving anywhere. I'm open to just traveling. Yeah. I really, really love California. I have a couple of friends over there and yeah, it's cool over there. Yeah, just like I'm just sick of driving. I'm sick of driving.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of driving and everybody there in the city, they just walking everywhere and people are roller skating down the beach and it just, it just seems like a really cool lifestyle. So
you're like, I can envision myself being there.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, that's the next place. That's the next stop. Or even Miami, who knows?
Dope. All right. Um, how do you want to inspire others?
Mm. How can I inspire others?
Yeah, how do you want to inspire others?
Oh, through music. Through music, that's definitely, that would be incredible. That's amazing. And honestly, I feel like it's even happening now because in Mob, in the group that I'm in, a couple of years ago, I would get nervous, presenting in front of others. Like, it's just like a freshman trying to present in front of people that are older than me, and being a sophomore, leading discussions and trying to get to know people. And I felt selfish, really selfish before, like just having the title of being president. But now, for the first time in a long time, I'm realizing that getting to know these people and their art and what they want to do and helping them accomplish their dreams is helping me accomplish my dreams. Like whenever you give, you get. So right now, I'm just focusing on pouring myself into these students, into these people, and influencing them. It feels like we're all influencing each other, like having these listening parties and helping each other collab. And they're great, but a lot of them can be shy, and just helping get that confidence, because you can be as talented as you want, but if nobody's gonna hear it, or if you don't know what to do with it or make money from it, then it's like GG, like there's nothing else to do. But yeah, so I feel like that's a good way to influence. I'm influencing people now, by them influencing me. We're just giving, taking, but mainly through music. That's the goal in life, influencing people through music.
Through you living your best life, right? Awesome.
Yeah.
So where can people find you? Where can we find you?
You can find me on Instagram, Anna_Madewell. On my TikTok, it's Kitty Kingdom 22. I believe just Kitty Kingdom. I'm on YouTube, Anna Madewell. You just type in Anna Madewell. I have some videos on there, and when my album comes out by the summertime, probably beginning of August, or no, sorry, beginning of July, end of May, then you can find me on Spotify. I'll be under either Kitty Kingdom or Anna Madewell. So yeah, that'll all be coming out soon.
Awesome. Thank you, Anna. Thank you so much for sharing, all your like great stuff that you're gonna be creating and that you're creating, and the inspiration behind your music. We're looking forward to like really listening to you and checking more out and seeing you grow. So thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.